that was a little beatboxing for you guys. I kind of wanted to switch things up a bit, you know, get a little creative with my intros. So there's a little beatboxing. If you guys want to hear more, it's kind of like, you know, just a little beatboxing. It's kind of like what I do for a hobby. Don't really pursue it much, but yeah, I do some dancing too, like street dancing, like break dancing and popping and stuff. So if you guys want to see some of that, you know, definitely comment, and I'll show you guys some of that stuff. But yeah, perks I'm using: Ghost, Sleight of Hand, and Marathon, and I'm using Galil with Strela, whatever it's called, the rocket launcher. Because I do take out some air support because I am a team player. You know, always want to be a team player, and using dual mags like always. Love that perk. And yeah, I don't really. This is domination. To be totally honest, I don't really play it that much, but that's okay because our team wins, and that's all that matters, right? Kind of a little bit of kill whoring, and I do kind of get angry a little bit at this point, or at one point, because they immediately shoot down my Huey, and I basically get one kill, which is not fun at all. And so what I kind of want to talk about is the movie 127 Hours. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, which it was recently in theaters about, I want to say 2-3 months ago in theaters, and I just watched it on Amazon Video on Demand. I didn't get a chance to watch it at the movie theaters, but it is a pretty interesting movie. If you don't know what it is, it's a... Oh, I won't spoil it for you, but it's a movie starring James Franco, and past this point, if you haven't seen it and you don't want me to spoil it, you might want to kind of, you know, turn this video off and watch it and then come back, because I want to kind of like talk about it a little and discuss it. So what it's about is, it's basically this one dude who's really like an adventure freak, or like kind of like an adrenaline freak, and he loves rock climbing in like the middle of the desert. So what happens is he kind of like meets these two girls, and then he like gets to know them, shows them around and stuff, and then he eventually leaves them, and he goes on his own to kind of follow the travel book guide, whatever you want to call it, and he follows that. And what happens is he was climbing down this like wall thing. He was trying to like climb into like the canyon or whatever, and then what happened is he was holding on to this big rock, this big rock that was kind of supporting him, and he thought it was pretty steady, so he kind of hold onto it for support. And then what happened was he miscalculated, I guess, and the rock was actually became dislodged, and it fell on top of him and his arm. And so what a whole hour of that movie is basically like going over what went through his head at the time and what he was thinking. So eventually he did get out after about, I want to say 3 or 4 days. He was basically trapped in there for 3 or 4 days with his arm stuck, and he was trying to chip away at the rock with he had a Swiss Army knife type of thing, multi-tool kit with a little tiny knife. I don't know if you guys know it, but he was trying to just chip away at the rock to hopefully get the rock to fall down. And if you guys don't know the backstory, it's kind of the multi-tool is basically, he describes it as a tool that you'd basically get if you bought a Chinese-made flashlight that comes with, you know, one of those free multi-tool kits. So it was basically pretty crappy, and he still managed to like chip away slowly at the rocks. And at this point, after like two days, he started to run out of water, and he was basically doubting his survival of anyone coming to rescue him. Because think about it, you're outside in the middle of the desert, and there's literally no one around you. You could be like literally hundreds of miles from civilization, and no one would even know, because he was just so far away and no one could hear his voice. And he was running out of water pretty fast, and he had little food actually, and he was kind of like hallucinating and kind of like going crazy, as in he was remembering past memories and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a reflection on his life, and it was a pretty interesting movie. If you guys haven't checked it out and still watching at this point, I definitely advise you to go check it out. It's kind of like a psychological thriller type of movie, and it got me thinking, what would you do in that situation? So if you're stuck with your arm under a freaking rock and you had no way of getting out, would you cut off your arm basically and try and escape? Like that's what he basically did. He took that crappy Swiss Army knife that was pretty dull, and what he did was he cut off his arm with that. He had to break all his bones because obviously you can't cut through bones, and he had to literally break all his bones in his arm and cut through his arm, and it was pretty disgusting if you just think about it. I don't know if I could actually do that. Like if I was personally stuck under a rock, I don't know if I could do that. That's a little bit too much to ask because your arm, that's your own arm. How much pain is that just to get yourself out? I think if that was me, I would have just died. I don't even think I'd have the guts or the balls even to cut off my own arm. That's pretty freaking intense. Cause that's like cutting off your own dick. Okay, that's really hard to do. So I would say he's a pretty brave dude. And if you like, I want to know your guys' kind of comments and insight onto this. So post down below what you would do. Would you cut off your arm? Would you keep on staying there trying to survive and call for help, or would you just die or just accept your death? That guy, he pretty much accepted his death, and he just happened to get out, luckily, because I guess he was like hallucinating and kind of like crazy. But yeah, he's a pretty incredible dude, and he basically gained worldwide fame, or I don't know if it's worldwide, but nationwide fame in America, because he's pretty, that was pretty intense. I think he went on a few talk shows and talked about it, which is pretty cool. And like I said, I don't know if I could do that. Could you guys? Just talking about it makes me kind of cringe at the thought of that. At the thought of just cutting off my own arm. I don't think I could cut off any part of my body willingly. Ugh, I just don't know how anyone could do that like him. But yeah, post down below what other kinds of movies you guys like. Do you guys like those kind of psychological thrillers? And I kind of like discussing these sort of like what if situations. I don't know if you guys like it, but I love these what if situations. And to a certain degree, it kind of makes me paranoid actually, because now I'm actually paranoid about going out into the wild and, you know, trying to climb all these rocks, because you never know. Your arm might get stuck underneath a rock, and then what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to cut off your arm. You're gonna be faced with this tough decision. And I wonder how his life is affected too. I actually read on Wikipedia that after he cut off his arm, after a short hiatus from just climbing rocks, he eventually went back and climbed all those rocks again. So he's a pretty intense dude. With just one arm, he climbed all those rocks again, and he even went back to climbing rocks. I know if that was me, I basically be afraid of climbing rocks again. I would be paranoid. So he definitely has balls, and he definitely like has my respect, because not many people can cut off their arm and let alone go rock climbing for about after with only one arm after all this. So he's pretty intense, and he actually has a kid. So if he was my father, I would be, oh my god, I'd be so proud of him. Not that I'm not proud of my dad right now. And so this video is wrapping up. It's almost done, and just post down below what you guys think. Peace out, Miguel. Just a little bit of beatboxing for you guys. Peace.